Partino, how you doing, my friend?
All right.
This is not fair to our lovely listeners who enjoy listening to you in your happiest forms, but we are recording this on a Monday evening, the night after Cart's team lost to Purdue. They also lost to Illinois. That's what we're here to talk about on this episode of the Sleepers podcast.
Where do we start on this one? Am I the one who's getting this underway?
I think so. I mean, I know you're down in the dumps, right? But
Mm-hmm.
we had a great trip to Champaign. We got to highlight that a little bit, but I think more importantly than that, we need to talk about if Illinois is back. And Illinois also played tonight. They beat Minnesota at the barn comfortably, 18-point win. So this is now 4 straight wins for Illinois. We were there for the biggest of them, in my opinion, which was the big comeback win against your team, Michigan State. So let's talk about it.
It was actually a game that Michigan State had kind of controlled throughout. They were playing extremely well. I thought there was some bad body language and confusion on the offensive end from Illinois in the first half, but I think they found something that worked in the second half, and they basically just ran it to death. I mean, just hammered it play after play after play, giving it to Matthew Meyer, running sets for him when he's guarded by smaller players like Jay Nakins, getting Dane Danger catching the ball 2 feet from the basket where all he had to do was turn and score. And then more than anything, I want to send a shout out to Coach Underwood and his staff for what they did defensively, especially in that second half, because I thought they did a great job of executing the game plan of basically playing drop coverage and staying stuck to the shooters on the wing and basically saying, okay, you guys got to go beat us shooting twos, shooting mid-range twos. And if you do that, so be it. But that's how you're going to beat us. And we have pointed out on previous podcasts when we talked about this, State's a team that's not necessarily just a 2-point dynamo. They really make their money and their bread from behind the 3-point line. So it was a game plan that worked. They were able to get on track. And with that win and the win that happened today, that's 4 straight wins for what I don't think anyone can disagree with, the most talented team in the Big Ten. It's just whether they put it together or not. Now, I'm not saying this win against Minnesota is that impressive. I think Minnesota, objectively sucks. So they should win by 18 because they're talented enough to do that. I'm not sure what their next schedule upcoming is if you have that handy, but I think there will probably be some games coming up that you'll see a little bit more about this team.
Home to Indiana, home to Ohio State, 2 teams that are reeling, and you get the Orange Crush back.
And Illinois is in a good spot right now.
Let me continue. After that, you go to Madison, to a team that you already beat and isn't necessarily looking great. You host Nebraska after that. I mean, this shapes up for maybe an extended winning streak for Illinois. They're already 4-0, but I think this could get to 7, maybe 8-0 if they hold serve. What was impressive to me, and then we'll go back and talk more about Michigan State. But what was impressive to me was just given the last 2 results, the Michigan State and the Minnesota games, they happened in different ways. Like, to me, the biggest story of Michigan State was, 1, the defensive game plan. I thought they put the blueprint out on how to beat Michigan State. You got to funnel Tyson Walker and AJ Hoggard into long twos. Those are 2 guys who have shown they will take long twos and take 20 of them a game. And I think you kind of saw it even in the Purdue game today. Even if the best case outcome happens for Michigan State, if Hoggard and Walker are shooting long twos, they're not really going to separate from you because long twos are pretty inefficient shots. Like,
right.
Tyson made every single shot he took in half, and Michigan State didn't really pull away. But that was Illinois sort of exposed that. It was like, okay, we're just not going to let Joey get a shot off. We don't have to worry about the center at all. These 2 are going to have to do it. And it really, really worked in the comeback. Dane was awesome against Michigan State. Tonight against Minnesota, it was Matthew Meyer, who had a great game against Michigan State too. But we talked about Meyer needing to be like a complimentary guy. Not anymore. He's being an alpha right now, and maybe we were wrong about that. Maybe they just have to have their alphas alpha. And if anything, Coleman seems to have taken the step to the side a little bit, which I think, is probably an okay thing for this team at this point, as long as he's happy with that. But right now, the team looks like they like each other. Right now, they've got a lot of dudes. We never questioned the talent. But I feel like when everyone's so blatant about like, oh, this has always been the most talented team, isn't that like a little bit of a shot at Brad to be like, This is the talented team in the Big Ten. They just haven't won a lot of the games, but like now they're starting to win a little bit, you know?
Yeah, and also at the same time, the thing about being, the most talented and, everything right now, everything's going good. Okay. Another thing
Oh,
that impressed me about the Michigan State game, and I'm not saying it's front runner, but I think the most impressive thing about this win streak is that they had that first half and they had that point in the second half where things weren't going good. And they made that run. That's the most impressive thing to me because it's easy to act like everything's all good and well and everything's going great when you're winning basketball games and you're up and you're beating the shit out of people, stuff like that. But when you're down 9 in the second half at home with your back against the wall, the team kind of came together and they got that win. So that was the most impressive part of kind of that this stretch to me. And it shows me that they can do it. But at the same time, it's always gonna be that thought in the back of my head that, you know, it's you really see people and teams' true colors when everything isn't going right.
yeah, for sure. Your coach hit the podium after and said, paraphrasing here, but he was as direct as he could be about it. Sky Clark left the team. Now the team's a lot better. I mean, your coach essentially said that. Do we believe that your coach is right in saying that at this point? They're 4-0 since he left the team.
I mean, I don't know. I do not think so. I mean, I'm still in the camp that I don't know. I still think Sky Clark is a good basketball player, but who knows what was going on in that locker room or where Sky was at mentally or anything like that. And you can say addition by subtraction, and it can be a situation where it's better for both parties that you just go your separate ways. Like maybe it's better that Illinois doesn't have Sky and Sky can go on to greener pastures and maybe go to a better situation. Who knows? But I don't know. Also, it was kind of that was kind of a weird comment to me because I just feel like he didn't have to say that.
Oh, Izzo saying things he didn't have to say? Really?
I don't. It came out. I don't think anyone. I can't remember if anyone actually asked them at the presser.
Oh,
He
no,
just
no,
kind of
no,
cut.
no, no. Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I mean, yeah, we were there, right? And that was one of my biggest takeaways. Was like, that was a masterpiece Izzo press conference. You got injury excuses, you got schedule excuses, you got, uh, yeah, the pointed Sky Clark to distract and move the blame off to the other team. It was just a fascinating case study from one of the more ornery coaches in the country. But oh well, I mean, not surprising. The point is, Illinois is really good. I also think, just to echo on the Sky Clark stuff, I think there's an element of truth to it. Like, I think clearly the locker room seems better right now, and I'm not putting all the blame on Sky for that. I think, other guys probably were being immature about that situation as well. But when you remove somebody, it shifts things. And it probably would have happened if somebody else was the person who left as well. In this case, it was Sky. Okay, things look better. The other part of this to me was the schedule itself. Like, I don't think Illinois goes worse than 3-1 in this stretch if Sky Clark's on the team.
Right.
Like at Nebraska, at Minnesota, you should win those games. Home to Wisconsin without Tyler Wall. Home to Michigan State where Malik Hall gets hurt. Like, I mean, those are 4 games you should win with the talent that this team has, whether or not Sky Clark's there. So give him credit. I'm taking Illinois serious now at this point. But are you? Like, can this team, we wrapped it unscripted, the Michigan State show we did for the Field of 68 just a moment ago. And you said Michigan State should feel like they can still win the conference. I pushed back on that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Illinois has the same record Michigan State does right now, 4-3, 2 games behind Purdue. Should Illinois feel like they can win this conference?
Yeah, I do because I think that what Illinois has at their disposal, and I don't know if they even know if they have it at their disposal or if they take advantage of it at time. I think they have different ways they can beat you. Like I think that in the Michigan State game, they're like, okay, Dane's cooking. They got Madi Sissoko down there. He's a cone. Just give it to Dane and he'll score. Or in the Illinois game or in the Michigan State game again. Michigan State doesn't have Malik Hall. The 3 that's guarding Matthew Meyer is 6'3" Jay Naked, 6'2" Jay Naked. Give it to him and let him go at it. I just think they have a lot of different ways that they could necessarily expose the defense or play. I think that was the another thing that impressed me about the Michigan State games. There's different ways that this team can beat you. They got that's why we say this Illinois team has so much talent. I think it's because they have players that can beat you in different ways. And we talked about all this. We didn't even mention that Terrence Shannon had 15 points in the first half against Michigan State because he was guarded by smaller guards and Tyson Walker and AJ Hogarth. So I think they have different ways that they can beat you, and you can't deny that talent. I think it's just whether the players know that and are willing to maybe even defer at other players at points of the game. And it seems they've been able to do that on this run.
Yeah, Underwood gave Terrence Shannon credit in the post game and said that he told Brad Underwood
That
to
was a lie.
not put him back in the game. That was a lie.
I there's nothing more I hate in basketball than the fake story about the coach that comes with the office like, hey coach, and I've been thinking, man, like you need to sit me. You need to sit me. It's not good for the team. Play him instead. It's fake.
I don't think it was a lie for the record. Maybe embellished a little bit, but you should have asked Terrence about this. You got to interview Terrence the day after this game.
I did. I was rattled that Terrence is my height.
I was rattled that Terrence has the voice of a third grader. I mean, it's a great interview. Love the guy, but he had very high pitched voice. I was surprised. Yeah. The other element of this is we loved our trip to Champaign. That's great news. Thank you, Illini Nation.
Episode is going to slap.
Are we allowed to be part of Illini Nation at this point? I feel like we kind of got adopted. We committed to it a little bit this weekend.
I mean, I feel like you got adopted to it in a great way. I got adopted into it by being put in the goddamn danger zone.
You were in an Orange Crush shirt, front row of the Illinois student section as Michigan State started blowing that lead.
And it killed me on the inside.
I mean, you're a trooper. You're team content over anything else, I guess. Michigan State people aren't too happy with you, but I give you credit for it. Thank you for it. Yeah, we were in Champaign 2 nights. We stayed an extra night because we wanted the full experience. I think that's one of the better decisions we had. College Hoops to go. You'll see the episode in 3 weeks, I believe. We have our Iowa episode dropping Tuesday, January 17th. And then 2 weeks from that day is when the Illinois episode will come out. We have probably 3 times the amount of footage that we've had from any other campus so far. And these are about 20-minute episodes. So I don't know if this will be a 1-parter, 2-parter, 3-parter, or if I'll just condense it down and we'll see what it turns into. But yeah, I mean, we had a great time. A lot of special guests popped through. We got a tour of the practice facility. Shout out to Tyler Underwood. We got to meet Coleman Hawkins in person. We got to interview Terrence Shannon. And of course, we had you in the student section. And we did a local news hit as well, Cart. I mean, I feel like the people are not talking enough about how the Sleepers are local news legends in Champaign.
I mean, we did. We trashed charcuterie boards. I mean, we truly did it. Shout out to Alma Mater. Shout out to Illinois, the Illini Union.
I'm sick we didn't go back and go bowling that night.
It was close. We'll go back. You were talking about having your diaper party in Champaign. Maybe it'll start at the Union.
I am. I'm not going to shout out the due date of my impending first child, but high chance we might do the diaper party in Champaign. So stay tuned for that. Legendary spot. We love that place.
100%. 10 out of 10. We'll be back. So the main question, how we're going to wrap this, is I need to know. Big Ten vibe check, like I always do. I keep it simple.
You do.
Purdue's winning the Big Ten, right?
I think so. Ask me after Illinois plays Purdue, though.
Outright?
Yeah, I think given today's results, yeah. I mean, they should have lost this game in Breslin. I'd still be sticking with the 4-way tie if they lost at Bres. But
when does Illinois play Purdue?
I don't know. I feel like it's late. I'll look it up real quick. Jesus, not until the final game of the season, Illinois plays Purdue.
Damn, really?
And it's at Mackey. I'll say this right now on record, Cart. If that game is for the conference, we're going.
Say less.
And on that note, thank you, Illinois fans. ILL.
Thank you. No, that needs to change. That chant stinks. Y'all need to work on that.
You won't hit me with an INI? Really?
No.
Okay. That's just because you're in your feelings. It's all right.
I am. Very much so.
It's okay. All right. Well, We'll see you next time. Good job, Illinois. Keep winning. This is fun.